Hello, and welcome to this reflection for the third Sunday of Easter. This gospel is very much a continuation and a little bit of a repetition of last week's gospel, where we see the fullness of God's love and mercy on display. Once again, they're in the upper room. They're terrified because they're hearing reports of Jesus appearing to them after his crucifixion and death, in which the apostles basically deserted him and ran away. And Jesus once again comes and stands in their midst, and instead of reproaching them, says that beautiful word, shalom, peace be with you. And they were terrified. They thought they were seeing a ghost of someone there to taunt them in the guilt of what they had done. And instead he says it again, peace be with you. And to prove he wasn't this specter, this ghost, he shows them his hands and his sides. And he asks, touch it, see that I am real and I am not here to harm you. He asks for food. He does not reprimand them, but instead, in his love and his mercy, he gives them his peace. He comes to them in their sinfulness and says, peace be with you. Do not be afraid. I know your sins, but I still love you and I'm still with you and I still want to be with you. And he goes even a step further, like he did on the road to Emmaus, and he breaks open the scriptures to help them to see why he had to go through all of this, how this was foretold, and how he knew what they would do, but that's okay because he still loves them. Jesus does that with us. If he did it with the apostles, there's hope for us. He comes in our sinfulness, in our weakness. He knows where we are, and he comes to us in that. And he brings us his peace, his forgiveness, his love. And then he takes us by the hand and brings us back to the light. He shows us the way step by step. And for me, this is such a beautiful image of the love of a father. And I'm often reminded of the image of when a child is learning to walk. When the child gets up and starts to walk and falls down, the father doesn't reprimand him. He doesn't scold him. He takes him by the hand and helps him up and encourages him along. He doesn't get mad at him. He gives him great encouragement to go along. And that's like us. We are that little child who walks and falls. And we fall frequently, but he is always there to encourage us and to pick us back up. And it's that love and that mercy that he shows us each and every moment of our lives that is so on display in this gospel, and how he's always willing to show us the way. We just have to be open to it. We have to open our hearts to let him in. I think that's one of the things I love. I always tell people I'm a little permanently cracked. But I don't mind being permanently cracked and broken, because that's where the mercy and love of Christ can come in. There was a tiny spot in the side of Jesus that was pierced, very tiny, where blood and water poured out. The mercy of God flowed for us. It's just those tiny bits, and we're all broken. And we need to acknowledge that, and we need to realize that, and that is how Christ gets into our lives.